Welcome to 𝐂𝐻 TV, a division of 𝐂𝐻 Media and Broadcasting. "95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on 𝐂𝐻, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Hi, Jimmy. I see a lot of familiar faces. Debbie, Leonard, thank you very much for being here and accompanying me live. Before anything else, I'd like to thank Tamra for letting me host today's show. For everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Teresa Garcia. I'm from Manila, Philippines. I'm one of Tamra's pioneer, master practitioner and teacher. And I'm from Manila, Philippines. As I've said earlier with some of you, it's 12 a.m. here in Manila, Philippines, but I'm very thrilled and honored and thankful and grateful to host this show today. So it is of, I love the heart, Georgiana. Thank you. It's of my utmost intention and prayer that I be of the greatest contribution to each one here. And may this session shift many more lives in the future for those watching the recording in the future. So I chose to talk about how to cope with grief and loss because I've recently experienced a lot of situations wherein I had a lot of loss and sadness and grief, not only from losing loved ones, but also loss of a lot of things. I just had to write it down. So I went through the stage. For me, the loss started with the onset of the pandemic. So there was a lockdown here in Manila. And so I was a professional singer. I have been a singer all my life, actually, for almost 20 years. So I call it all my life. And with the lockdown, so suddenly I had no gigs or events. So I lost my job, well, along with the other entertainers and musicians. And most of those in the service industry, working in the hotel industry, actually. So that actually initiated the loss that I felt. Although during that time, I was also a healer. So I started doing healings or facilitating healings professionally back in, I think, 2011. But I wasn't really doing it full time because I was so full time into singing. But towards I think towards 2016, 2017, that was the time that I became very active in facilitating healing sessions and also teaching classes. And then I didn't really realize that I was missing singing. and I wasn't techie. And so I wasn't able to sing on TikTok, or unlike my other colleagues. Anyways, and then April 2020, my mother-in-law started getting really sick. Although she was already in her 90s, perhaps my partner and I had anticipatory grief, because it's like, we were talking that perhaps these are the last few months, or perhaps we were praying at least years. But then we were very stressed out taking care of her. And so by July of 2021, yes, July of 2021, she passed away. And that was another loss that I experienced. And being an empath, it's like I somehow took on some of my partner's grief. So it was really very heavy on me. Plus the fact that I witnessed my mother-in-law's last few days. She really struggled, and I had to help her pass on. And that was the first time, actually, that I saw someone passing on. It wasn't. It was quite traumatic for me. So after that, I wrote down everything. I didn't want to miss anything. And during that month, so during that month, I had menopause. So I was in my perimenopause when the pandemic struck. So I was also anticipating menopause, and I had horror stories about menopause, and somehow I feared going into menopause. And then I had those crazy beliefs, which I actually worked on also. I'm just quite grateful for Sacred Activations for having assisted me clearing all those belief systems that I was spinning into. So same month I had menopause, and so my sadness and grief was compounded. I was very cranky. I had a lot of mood swings. Then insomnia was really horrible. Then by January 2022, our entire household had COVID. And so I had COVID for almost a month. And that was one of the most horrible experiences. I used to be really very depressed, although it wasn't, I would say it wasn't really horrible. But for me, it was like the symptoms. It was unbearable for me. So for that entire month, it was I was really feeling devastated. I was also very depressed. I was very angry. I had also a lot of judgments towards COVID, and so perhaps that worsened it. By June 2022, my partner got sick. Mind you, that was my birth month. And so when he got sick, I was extremely harassed. And I was even telling God, I was the verbal type. I was telling God, what is happening to me? What I mean, on my birthday, this happens, etc., etc. So it was like a loss of a time for me to celebrate and to unwind. So I lost that entire month to taking care of my partner. So again, additional loss, and then sadness and grief. And then my dad started getting sick. And by July 15, he had massive cardiac arrest. I remember I remember during that day, I was facilitating a healing session. So my mom kept on messaging me that my dad wasn't really feeling good. They were gonna go to the hospital, and then a few hours before I think she said that they were going to the ER, and then I had to wrap up my session as soon as possible, and then I rushed to the hospital. But then when I got to the hospital, my dad was already unconscious and he was already being revived. It was very traumatic for me. I was attempting to send him healing. In fact, I even messaged our Sacred Activations group. I asked for prayers. I asked for healings. But then I felt that I sensed that my dad didn't want to receive the healing. During that time, I thought that, during that time, I felt that he had the choice. It was either to go back, for him to go back, or to really leave. And he chose to leave. And so we were in shock. We were in shock. The entire family was in shock. More so, there were a lot of secrets that it was just like a can of worms. So there were a lot of secrets that we found out after his death. So I was talking to a fellow practitioner. She also experienced loss, but at the same time, some form of, you could say, betrayal. So for me, since I was my dad's favorite daddy's girl, I actually didn't really, I wasn't really affected. I wasn't affected so much, maybe because I had that, I felt that unconditional love for him. But my mom was really devastated. So I really had to assist her to really pick up the pieces, to really get back to her center. She was extremely devastated. Plus we were not also ready with everything. So everything was in a rush. So the grief plus the rush, it was actually very chaotic during that entire month. So, and that incident also made me feel like not being able to be with my dad during his last hours or minutes. I really felt very guilty, and I had to work on myself. In fact, it was only a few months that I was able to really work on myself and clear the guilt and the shame and everything that accompanied everything that I made his death mean. So I had to work on that. So a month after my dad passed, my grandmother passed. So that was in August. But it was due to old age. So at least it wasn't as traumatic. And then first quarter of 2023, I lost my 3 heart dogs. But what really devastated me was the last one. He was my soul dog. He was with me for almost 18 years, and that was in March. And that again triggered a deep wave of sadness, and grief. So I kept on talking about several of my experiences of grief. But what is grief actually? So I looked up the meaning of grief on the internet. And the simple definition is that grief is a natural response to loss. The more complex definition, according to watchyourgrief.com, is that grief is an ongoing and evolving experience involving cognitive, emotional, physical, and behavioral responses to a loss. Responses may be related to the object of loss, secondary losses, and stressors, the self, others, and the world. That is the beliefs about safety, security, worldview, etc. So often the pain of loss can feel overwhelming. You may experience all kinds of difficult and unexpected emotions, from shock or anger to disbelief, guilt, and profound sadness. The pain of grief can also disrupt your physical health, making it difficult to sleep, eat, or even think straight. These are normal reactions to loss, and the more significant the loss, the more intense the grief will be. So actually, any type of loss can cause grief, of course, aside from the death of any loved one. And this includes divorce or relationship breakups, loss of health, losing a job, loss of financial stability, a miscarriage, retirement, death of a pet, loss of a cherished dream, a loved one's serious illness, loss of a friendship, loss of safety after a trauma, relocating or selling your family home, and also kids leaving the family home. That's the type of loss that empty nesters experience. So whatever your loss, it's personal to you. So never feel ashamed of how you feel or believe that it's somehow only appropriate to grieve for certain things. And grieving is a highly individual experience. There's no right or wrong way to grieve, but inevitably, the grieving process takes time. It happens gradually and it can't be forced or hurried. There isn't also any normal timetable for grieving. So some people start feeling better in weeks or months, just like my two brothers. They were okay after I guess a few months, a few weeks. And then some people I know, I know they've been grieving for years now, and they haven't actually recovered. So before I share my tips on how I cope with the complicated grief that I experienced, complicated because it was compounded. So I went through several losses. So that's what complicated grief is. I'd like to briefly cover the different symptoms of grief, most especially those who recently had or experienced some losses. So emotional symptoms include shock and disbelief, sadness, guilt or regret about things you didn't do or you didn't say or do, fear, most especially if you lost your partner, your job, or home. You may feel anxious, helpless, or insecure about the future. And then you'll also feel anger. You might also feel anger and resentment, even if the loss was nobody's fault. And then physical symptoms include fatigue, nausea, lowered immunity, weight loss or weight gain, changes in appetite, aches and pains, insomnia. So I had insomnia, and then I also had frozen shoulder, so left frozen shoulder. So very briefly too, these are the 5 stages of grief, according to a well-known psychiatrist, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. But then doesn't actually, it doesn't, like, some people go through all the 5 stages. Some people just skip and go through a few stages. So it's just general. And it was written back in 1969. So the first stage is denial, like this can't really be happening. And then the next stage is anger. So why is this happening? Who is to blame? The third one is bargaining. And this I feel is more for anticipatory grief. So you're anticipating something, most especially for those who had who got diagnosed with illness, or those who had like in my case, I had aging pets, and then also my mother-in-law who was in and out of the hospital. And then fourth stage is depression. I'm too sad to do anything. I went through that stage, I think for a month. So after my pet passed away, I couldn't work. And then I gave my time. I gave myself time to grieve. I I was workaholic, and I'd have to do a lot of things. But after the death of my father, I couldn't work. I think at least I gave myself at least a month. So I had to stop facilitating healing sessions. I just had to just go with the flow. And then last stage is acceptance. So I'm at peace with what happened. So again, all of these stages are generalized. So these are my tips. These are my tips. The things that I did so that I could cope more gracefully with all the losses and with all the grief that I was experiencing. First is I said it a while ago, give yourself time to process, reflect, and have some me time. And I had a lot of crying spells. I'll just cry for no reason, out of the blue. But then I wasn't ashamed about it. I let myself be vulnerable. And it's not a weakness. Crying is not a weakness, unlike other people think that crying is it's like crying is a sign of weakness. It's not. To me, it's a sign of strength, and being vulnerable is a sign of strength. And then the next thing is to live one day at a time. And then I made sure to always set an intention every day. And then I also claimed my day every day. So when I set my intention, I was clearer and I had less crying spells. And then the third one, well, being an energy healer, being a sacred activations practitioner, I worked on myself. And I also had the privilege of being worked on. I was very happy because I took the review of Medical Intuitive, and my fellow sacred activations practitioner worked on me regarding that grief. And so I felt so much lighter and so much happier. In fact, I never realized that the grief and the sadness and the loss that I was feeling, it was extremely deep. And I also realized that the loss and the sadness, there were other situations in my life, not only the recent losses, and it was in my lungs and in my colon. So those are the organs where I stored the sadness and the grief and the loss. And later on, I'll run sacred activations to also clear all of those energies and emotions that got stored in different parts of the body. And then I spent time with family. I spent time with my family, and then I opened up to receiving their love and assistance and support. I'm one person who's very independent. Rarely do I ask for assistance or for support, but in this case, I openly ask for assistance, for support, and I was just very lucky that it was given to me by my family. So those are the things that I needed to talk about before we do the healing session. Well, actually, yes, okay. Can we have some grounding? Yeah, okay. Did you feel loopy with all my stories? Okay. All right. And we haven't even started with sacred activations. Okay, just focus on your hearts so that when we go to the healing session, just focus on your hearts. And if you could call back all parts and pieces of you, all parts and pieces of you from the past, and then from the future, or if you're so invested or focused on your future and on the past, call back all parts of you into your center. And take easy, nice deep breaths in and out. And if you could also imagine that you're either a huge tree with your trunk wide and hollow, and you're bringing your awareness into that tree trunk, and you're growing roots wide and hollow as well. And you're bringing those roots deep, deep down into Mother Earth, into the very core, very heart chakra of Mother Earth. And if you could just ground those roots firmly into the heart chakra of Mother Earth. And be present there for a while. Just open up to receiving the maximum grounding energies, the nourishment from Mother Earth. And be present with your breath as well. So we'll just be taking a very quick break.
𝐂𝐤𝐡 TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. 𝐂𝐤𝐡 Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, 𝐂𝐤𝐡 offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an 𝐂𝐤𝐡 magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on 𝐂𝐤𝐡 TV and broadcasting it across the extensive 𝐂𝐤𝐡 radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. 𝐂𝐤𝐡. Open yourself to the possibilities. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious meta-programming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to free 7 activations, that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hi, and welcome back. So before I start the healing session, I'd like to read this about sacred activations. So sacred activations, also called the subconscious metaprogramming modality, is the easiest, fastest, and most potent process to rewire your brain, change your subconscious programs, clear negative core beliefs, and upgrade energy frequencies through source or God energy. An activation or deactivation is an intelligent energy code that functions like a metaprogram or software, which changes and upgrades the belief systems, vibrations, and consciousness that don't resonate with it. And at the same time, it installs new mental programs, codes, and information into the subconscious mind, giving it a new direction, a new focus, a new pattern that is empowering, positive, and rooted in love. So you will naturally make choices and decisions that align with your highest truth and good. So I just wanted to share with everyone that I facilitate monthly group sessions. I also teach sacred activations classes. I just recently taught a level 1 class. And then I can also teach master's practitioner, medical intuitive, and all of Akashic Records classes, starting with classic Akashic Records down to Akashic Records, Heaven and Hell. And you can reach me through Facebook, through my Facebook page, Sacred Activations Philippines, and my website, heartmindsoulhealing.com. Now on to the healing session. So we actually grounded. Yeah, the links are in the chat. All right. So again, just focus on your hearts. Since we actually grounded during the first part, you could just look at your feet. That's also a quick form of grounding. And take nice deep breaths in and out. While I connect to God or Source. Just running Pillar of Light activation for each one. I love running Pillar of Light activation along with Universal Life's Grid. They're my protection protocol. And just stay present with your breath. Just allow any thoughts, feelings, or emotions to rise up for those to be cleared. Rise up to the surface. there's anything in your field that needs to be cleared, allow that pillar of light to clear that right now. Any energies that are not yours, any energies that's no longer serving your best and highest good. Allow that to be transmuted by your pillar of light. To be transformed into love and light. Then running universal light squared activation. Then running PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder deactivation. Clear all the shock and trauma from experiencing the loss. Then broken heart deactivation. Clearing deep sadness and grief. And then running Overwhelm, the activation. Clearing anger, guilt, fear, along with the hurt and pain. And if some of you experience betrayal, let's have the sacred energies clear that too. And we're asking that those heavy and dense emotions be cleared from all of your cells, from all the organs, from all parts of your body. Know that you're being filled up with peace, love, joy, and happiness. Also running anger and resentment towards God, the activation. Know that the activation is clear from the core, from the past, from across your lives, in and through the genetics, and from the collective consciousness. So victim of the world, the activation. Also weight of the world, the activation. If the loss and the deaths in your family caused you to get into the dark night of the soul or black night of the soul, we're going to run a deactivation to that. So that you don't have to hit rock bottom before things can get even better. Let's just clear any self-punishment. Thank you, Leonard. And then things have to get worse before they can even get better. And then running breathe peace or Quan Yin activation. So it clears your lungs of the sorrow and sadness. Also clearing it from your consciousness and from the collective consciousness. Running a clearing on your adrenals, clearing all exhaustion. And let's also clear all the sorrow of the world from the back heart chakra. So if there's anything that needs to be cleared that I wasn't able to mention, just open up to the sacred energies and let all of those be cleared from your space. Let's also run Pain Be Gone. This is an activation that I wasn't able to write, but I sensed that some of you might need it. Not only physical pain, but clear all the emotional pain. Then finally, let's run Brain in Balance activation to balance the brain pulses. And then Hormones in Balance. Total body reconnection. Some people, when they experience trauma, they get out of the body, so that would bring you back your spirit into your body. Nervous system reset. And finally, running my favorite activation, and Tamra's favorite activation as well. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Okay. I ran so many activations today. So I started with Pillar of Light, then the Universal Life Grid, PTSD, Broken Heart, the activation, clearing deep sadness and grief, clearing of the feelings of anger, guilt, fear, along with hurt, pain, betrayal, clearing overwhelm, anger and resentment towards God, victim of the world, Dark Night of the Soul, Book of the Dead, Breathe Peace, or Quan Yin. Clearing adrenal exhaustion, brain imbalance, hormones imbalance. Total body reconnection, pain be gone, and nervous system reset. And then filling each and every cell of your body with peace, love, joy, and happiness. So just open up to peace, love, joy, and happiness. And abundance. And then one thing more, I'm going to run Mother Earth activation to deepen your connection with Mother Earth. And I thought happy, happy, joy, joy was the last activation. But that's what most of us need, grounding to Mother Earth. So just imagine that you are walking barefoot on soil or on the beach, on sand. Just focus on your feet. And we let the activations integrate with the heart chakra of Mother Earth. And then grounding you back into your bodies. And then take a deep breath in through the nose. And slowly exhale out through the mouth. Slowly going back into the present moment. Feeling so much better, feeling so much lighter. Again, thank you very much for joining me in today's show. Thank you very much. And you're most welcome for those of you who are saying thank you. You could be emotional. So, hi, Tammy, how are you? So if you could journal your thoughts, that's what I do. And also, please drink lots and lots and lots of water. Hydration is very important. If you could take a salt bath to help your body with detoxification, and also if you could take your minerals, so much better. And if you could also be more keen to the needs of your body, if you need to eat a certain type of food or rest or sleep. So just be more aware of the needs of your body. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for having joined me live. Thank you very much, and many blessings to everyone.